want people to walk out of the theater and go, wow. Brutal is definitely a roller coaster ride. You know, you can think you've got it figured out when it turns around and, you know, slaps you in the face and takes you in a whole different direction. So you're definitely in for a thrill ride from beginning to end.
No. Brutal is a tight psychological horror ride, and is really about what happens when a normal man, businessman, family man finds himself ensnared in the evil web of a madman. What would you do? How would you react? How would you respond? How would you survive? And how would you escape, ultimately, if you can?
And called me after I was attending Comic-Con and said he had an idea for a low-budget independent film that he'd like us to make. It's a brother-sister team. And I said, oh, okay. So he was telling me a little bit about the storyline, and I thought, oh, that sounds really interesting. That, you know, to me it was a crime drama, the way he explained it, with a little bit of kind of blood and guts, and, you know, that's not too bad. So, but then after reading the script, I was like, oh, wait a minute. It was like a torture movie. I don't know if I can, you know, psychologically really go there.
Yeah, I just kept writing, so it got bigger, but I had always intended on Michael Baldwin playing Carl, and I was hoping he'd do it. So anyway, I cranked out a script in 23 days, a first draft, and sent it to him, and I was nervous, and miraculously we were, I think, about 90% there. Everybody loved it, everyone agreed to do it, and here we are.
Not bad.
To me anyway, so I wanted something that people could get involved in and still get, you know, there is obvious graphic violence in this movie. It's brutal, and it is gory, but it's there for a reason and a purpose, and it does move the story forward, and there are so many twists and turns that keep you constantly thinking, and it's a movie that I would want to watch. So, and it's a movie that I can, you know, stand by and be proud of and think, oh man, you know, that was cool. And it had all these other horror movie elements in it that I liked, but there was depth and there was character development, and you care and you get sucked in.
My thought for the score is, this music is going to tell you somebody's gonna die. The composer was to come up with a theme that you could hang on this movie wherever a movie went and it would work, and I think that's what we got.
It's a very dark film, and I don't go to see dark films. However, it's kind of like it's time for me to get over it. And this movie came along, and it has a really good message. A message that actually could change the world if people took it in.
It's fun. It's supposed to be fun. It is a horror show. Don't expect to, you know, only sit there calmly. It's going to give you lots of thrills and chills. It's going to give you some shock. But isn't that what filmmaking is all about?
But that's what the movie's about, redemption. Redemption certainly is a universal theme. So I guess what one hopes that an audience takes away from the film is the idea that one can be redeemed.